All right, so there is a short clip from the concluded Craftsmen, okay, that is organized by Throne Worship in conjunction with RC and Lagos, where Apostle Osayi actually demanded, well, not like demanded, actually asked people to give the sum of 1 million. And that video obviously might become a sensation on the internet. Now, usually I don't get to, react to things like this or talk about things like this. But because I know, since someone has called that out, eventually people are going to talk about it because it has to do with money. And of course, if you have been on this space, whenever any minister gets to mention money on the platform, on the pulpit, people are always quick to scrutinize what a person says. People will even cancel you just because you made mention of money. So when I saw that video, I had to go to the source to start up from the beginning of the video, right? So we can understand.
I have a blessing for you. Someone married for 8 years without a child. Don't come if it's 7, don't come if it's 6, don't come if it's 9. What I heard is 8 years. 8 years, because we are going to celebrate your child in the next Craftsmen meeting. The Lord was specific about 8 years. 8 years. The situation has lingered for 8 years, and we are going to testify next year by this time. All right, can you stretch your hands in that direction and ask God to fulfill his word? Please, this is a spiritual moment. Moko Salanto Seliba Capris Boria Masakatula Manteli. Oh, I already sense rejoicing in my spirit. So this our prayer is a religious one. Stop praying. It's a religious prayer. There's victory already in the spirit. The first thing I came to do is to fulfill an instruction. If you don't believe in this instruction, don't bother.
Now, before we go ahead, I had to play this beginning section, okay, just to give a perspective, because some persons from the place I saw that clip, we are kind of suggesting that those who eventually called out to give, we are the only person that will be blessed. So this is Apostle Osayi coming to do his thing, coming to, dish out word of knowledge and to pray for people without having to demand for money. And even after, I want us to listen carefully to when he asked people to come and give a certain amount, which is 1 million. Even after they gave, right, people were still impacted, aside from people that gave. Because somebody might want to say, is it that only those who give money that will be blessed by God? Come on, don't be mischievous. So let's go. Let's continue.
It's not for everybody. I came to fulfill an instruction. The bishop was given the message for the day, so I'm not here to preach. I don't know how to communicate with the people that manage these screens, but I want Throne Worship account to be on these screens. Account details in a moment. Just to obey instructions. Aha, so this. Now I have obeyed the instruction I'm asking, not everybody. If you are willing, the amount God told me is 1 million.
Now, before we go ahead, first of all, you have to understand this account is not his own private account. This is not even his own ministry account. And this is the Throne Worship, the people that actually are responsible for organizing this program, even though I understand, probably championed by the pastor in RC and Lagos, okay? So, very key important things I want us to note as we go ahead. And before we even go ahead, you should also understand, he said this is not for everyone, all right? So, what I saw, he was very careful to make sure this thing, this call is actually to those who are willing. Remember, just note that word, to those who are willing, all right? And let's just go ahead.
If you are willing to give 1 million, willing and foolish like me, to give 1 million, You have 5 minutes. These are the account details. I'm not saying 500,000. I'm not saying 10,000. Don't bother. Don't bother. The amount was specific. So if you are willing to be, and if you don't have it, don't bother also. You have, I'm not saying come to the front, please. No, you will not be seen. The people that obey this. These are the instructions on the screen. If you are willing like me, because I've given my own before I'm asking you to give. And there's evidence to show that I've given. All right. So that's where I derive my authority from. If you are willing like me to be foolish enough to give away 1 million Nigerian naira, do it now.
So if you have the money, you can give. If you don't have, you are not being forced. If you are willing and ready to obey the instructions. So this has nothing in any way, in any form, cajoling people. If you don't have the money, don't come out. If the money is not your money, please don't also come out. It was specific, okay? I think he was very careful to make sure this is a willing act, albeit is an instruction, but we'll get to that point, right?
You have 5 minutes. If you are struggling, don't give. It's willingness. Willingness flows. If there's a struggle, forget about it. You are willing.
I think it's very specific now.
To give 1 million. Take advantage of the details on the screen right now. And you have 5 minutes to comply. And you are not wrong if you are not participating.
So also note this. He said you are not wrong if you are not participating. So you are not being forced, so to say, right?
You are not wrong. You have 3 more minutes to finish your participation. He did not ask for more than 1 million. I know some of you have 100 million. He's asking for 1 million willingly. If you don't have it, no problem. If you collected some people's money for transaction, don't give. It's not yours. We have 2 more minutes to go. If you are willing to give away 1 million, this is the time. Those of you that were foolish enough like myself to do what I just asked, please come now.
Now, I just want to chip something in right now. Now, also observe, he didn't attach any condition. He didn't say, now, if you give this is what will happen to you. Okay, if you give this, your business will boom. None of those conditions was attached before he called them out, even though he eventually had to ask them to make prayer. But before, while he was making the announcement, he didn't give any form of condition. And I believe he was very careful to make sure this thing was a willing act, albeit an instruction.
Don't clap. No. Don't clap. Don't encourage them. If you gave, and don't start giving now. The door is closed. Yes, the door is closed, because if you want to give now so that you can come out, you are wrong.
So you can actually imagine at a point, you even have to reject more people coming out, because obviously when he called them out, people might say, okay, maybe you want to pray for these people. So he said, if you have not given before now.
All of you standing out here, ask God for one thing, either in heaven or on earth. Ask him for one thing now. Those that are still coming, that have given, that are still coming, you can join up. You can join up before I begin to say the things the Lord has asked me to say. Right?
I understand this is going to ruffle a lot of feathers, right? And people might want to make noise because of what he just said now, but it's fine. Let's just continue.
So I'm still waiting 55 more seconds for people that complied. You can join up before I start praying. Those of you in front, ask him for an impossible thing. Don't ask him for a normal thing. Something that is impossible with men.
Now, I did 2 video touching ministering to the saints and also ministering to pastors. Now, in that video, I was able to bring out scriptural grounds, and also we looked into aspects whether God blesses a man when he gives. Okay, so that video actually covered a lot of things that has to do with giving. You might just want to check it out. All right, so let's continue. All right, so I understand people will have different opinion on how they see this video. Okay. One thing you have to understand about Osayi, this is not a common practice. All right. This is the 3rd Craftsmen that the throne worship are organizing. And I'm sure if you go back to the 1st and 2nd, this was not done at all. There was no place where they made mention of asking people to give. So this is not like them organizing a program to take money from people. And also, something that is word of note is this: when they are building their headquarters in Makurdi, the embassy, Arome embassy, that worth over millions, but the equipment, there was no place, there was no time when they had to raise offering, as you know it in the traditional Pentecostal setting. Okay, so there are just few things which I just want us to consider. One is this: some of the questions I saw people asking from where I saw the video on the comment section. One is that, can God ask people to give? Can God ask people to give that kind of amount? Well, one way to answer that question is to ask, was there anywhere in the scripture that God asks his people to give? Of course, the answer is yes. There are a lot of scripture that comes to mind. One is, when they were about building the temple of the Lord, they were instructed to give. And more so, if you remember the case of the woman, the Zarephath woman, right? If I remember appropriately, God instructed the prophet to go there. The next you have to understand is that this is a willing call. You could see how he was very careful to emphasize it. If you don't have the money, don't give. If the money in your account is not your own money, don't give. If you are struggling, he was very careful to make mention all of those things. And also very important, when he asked them to give, he didn't attach any condition. Yes, he went ahead to pray for them, okay, to make some prayers concerning those who give, and even ask the audience to pray. Okay, and if you look at, I think it was Philippians chapter 4, verse 18, when some person gave some things to the needs of Apostle Paul. After they gave, Apostle Paul had to release a prayer to those that gave. So I don't see anything wrong in him asking them to come out and asking them also to make a prayer, to ask God for something impossible. Well, some person might want to see that as not being proper, but I don't see anything wrong in that. People might have their opinion, but you cannot use the scripture to disprove what he has done, rather. Okay. So, nonetheless, I do want to know what you think about this, okay? And just be modest.